Let's have a look in the next topic, that is nothing but write functions in the JavaScript. So very first thing is write document.write, second is window.alert, third thing is console.log, and fourth thing is .innerHTML. So whenever you want to display some content on the browser, in that case you have four options to print. So basically first is document.write, second is window.alert, third is console.log, and fourth is .innerHTML. Definitely there are some differences between these four options. So let's have a look each one of them one by one. So I'll directly move back into my code. Let's start with the coding itself. So document.write, this function is used to write arbitrary HTML and content into page, right? So if we use this function after an HTML document is fully loaded, and it will delete all existing HTML. It is used only for testing purpose. So what I'm going to do is I will be writing over here document.write. We have already seen how to include it. So let's take what I'm going to do is I'll include some HTML as well. So we have already included the HTML as well. Hello and welcome to JavaScript. You can see I'm going to save the file and let's have a document.write functioning. So instead of using this external file, I will be using this internal itself. So I'll just remove this src tag and write this document dot write over here. Simply I'll just say document dot write over here and I'll say welcome to the TQPP family. So I'll just say TQPP. So save the file, and if I say right click and open in browser, and you can see I am getting my expected output, right? So what other things that you can perform with document.write option? So simply I'm going to include document.write function again. So I'm going to say document dot write, and in that I'm going to say I want to have an addition of 2 plus 2. I don't know how much it comes. So let's save the file and hit back to the browser. Save the file, head back to the browser. If I refresh the page once again, and you can see TQPP4, right? So simply I have to give line break as well. So let's try to add line break over here. So I'll go over here and I'll say I want to have line break, and I'll say double quotes and some BR tag over here. Just save the file. This is how we can include HTML inside this JavaScript. As you can see, the 4 is being hiding that icon. Let's meet that you can see the 4 is being displayed, and this is the way how we can add line break as well. I hope you all guys are clear with this document.write, and let me show you one more thing that we can perform with document.write. So simply what I'm going to do is simply I'll just copy the same line, paste it over here, and I'll say welcome to the TQPP, and I'll paste it over here. Let's take, okay, I'll just keep it as it is, break, and I'll add over here again some content. So I'm going to add some welcome to TQPP and nice to see you all. Suppose I say something like this, just save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm able to get my concatenated output, that is nothing but welcome to the TQPP and nice to see you all. That's it. So basically what all functions you can do is you can add line break in the document.write function, you can have concatenation, you can perform some arithmetic operations as well, some just like addition, multiplication, etc. Now what I'm going to do is I will be showing you an example for the alert. So simply the other option, if you go over here and you can see window.alert is the one output function, or we can say write function in JavaScript. So let's have a look. What is this? This function is used to display data in alert dialog box. So basically we will be getting some dialog box over here. Alert really should be useful only when you truly want to stop everything and let the user know something. That is nothing but, let's say sometimes we see if 30 minutes are left, if we are giving some exam and if we get notified that 30 minutes are left, unless and until you click on OK, you cannot process further, right? So something like that only. So concept is same over here, windows.alert. So what I'm going to do is I will be simply adding this window.alert function in my script. So I'm going to show right over here window.alert, and I'm going to say alert, and I'm going to say 90% data has exhausted Let's take the real time scenario I'm taking right now. Let's save the file and head back to the browser. If I go and refresh the page over here, if I refresh the page, and you can see unless and until I click on OK, I'm not able to get my content as well. Welcome to TQPP and welcome to TQPP and nice to meet you. I'm not able to get it and unless and until I click, right? So the moment I'm going to click on it, you can now see my all contents are being displayed again. So let's refresh the page once again and you can see 90% data has exhausted. You have no other option to say cancel, nothing else. You have to simply say OK. So I'm going to say OK over here and you can see some HTML is being displayed, right? So this is why you can use this alert box. Same you can alert, you can have in the inside the alert box the arithmetic functions as well. So I'm going to have, let's take window dot alert over here, window dot alert, and I'm going to add over here 2 plus 5, so it will be 7, right? So I'll just go over here into my browser. I'll just refresh the page once again. You can see 90% data has exhausted. The 7, the result, that is total 7 is my answer. Then say OK and now you are able to get your HTML, right? Now let's back with my next option, that is nothing but console.log. So console.log generally used for your testing purpose. Whenever you want to try your flow, whenever you want to try to understand your flow of execution in that case. So basically it is used for your testing purpose. So let me add this console.log statement over here. Console.log and I'm going to say I'm from, I'll say console over here. So it's of your choice. You can add the data that whatever you want. So I'm from console. I'll just go back to the browser and I'll just refresh the page. You can see 90% data has exhausted, 7 is my answer, and we are not getting our output, right? Whatever we have written that I am from console, I'm not able to get it on the browser. So definitely it is just for the testing purpose. This is nothing but you don't want to show it to user. So for that purpose what you have to do is you have to simply right click and say inspect over here, and you are able to get your developer tools. So there are multiple options that you can go with. So you can see your HTML document, whatever you have written over here, but I'll just keep it aside. I'll just go directly a console tab and you can see I'm from console being displayed, right? I'm from console. So whenever you want to check some data, you want to have some testing purpose, in that case you can go with the console.log statement. I hope you all are clear with this console.log. Let's move ahead and have a look at .innerHTML. So don't miss out the syntax, the capital letters, the small letters. The syntax should be same, the letters should be same. So let's try to add it into the code. I'll just go back into the code and let's say I'm going to create over here some span tag, or let's take some div tag over here. I'll just write some HTML element. So I'm going to say div tag, and that div tag I'm going to write, let's take I'm going to write hello, right? I'm going to say hello over here, and what I'll be doing here is I'll be specifying some ID. I'm going to say special, right? Now let's try to change the content of it. So .innerHTML is a write function which is going to write into your HTML element. So basically and now what I want is I want to replace hello with bye. So let's try to add some data over here to change this content. Simply what I have to do is I have to read first the data. So simply I have to say document is nothing but your HTML document. So that's why I'm going to call it as document. And in that document I want to have document dot get element by ID method. So in that case you don't worry about the syntaxes. I'm definitely going to explain it. Document dot get element by ID. So this is the method in which you have to specify your ID name to read it. So that's why whenever you are dealing with ID and class selectors or ID and class attribute, and that time only I have specified your ID should be defined only one, right? So document dot get element by ID. So I'm going to specify over here special. So let's have dot inner HTML is equals to, now I want to specify a text that is nothing but by. Now let's save the file over here and head back to the browser. Refresh the page once. Refresh the page once and you can see 90% data exhausted, 7 by over here. So you can see directly by appearing, because we have directly give a call to the code. We haven't applied any, we can say we haven't called the function on the basis of any button click and anything. So initially the page when renders, and that time only we are going to replacing the data, we are replacing the data. So that is not initially it was displayed somewhere hello, and the page loads, it is being reflected using this dot inner html function, that is nothing but by. You can see by is displayed over here at this place, right? So basically dot inner html is a function through which you can write on the browser. So I hope you all guys clear with this four function write functions in javascript. Let's have a look on the pdf first. So write functions in javascript, there are four total write functions: document.write, window.alert, console.log, .innerHTML. So document.write and .innerHTML both are same, both work same, but there are some minor differences in these two functions. Window.alert is something else when you want to restrict a user, or you when you want unless and until user notices the call. And no further actions to be performed, in that case you can go with alert. And console.log is nothing but a use generally the testing purpose. It is not displayed on the browser, it will be displaying the message inside the console tab. Now let's move ahead, and the next thing is semicolons. So are semicolons important in javascript? So basically you can say no, it's okay if you're going to skip the semicolons, but the good developer coding practice says you should give semicolons to separate statements in the JavaScript file. So please keep in a habit that you give semicolons after every statement. So next thing is identifiers. Let's move to the identifiers. An identifier is a name having few letters, numbers, and special characters. So basically, each and every people in the world, so each and everyone in the uh, real time scenario having some name, right? So my name is Sonal. You might be having your own name. So basically, when you identify a people, in that case, you should have some name. So that can be consist of, or that can be made up of a few letters, numbers, and some special characters. So what are special characters you can use is underscore, and it is used to identify a variable, function, symbolic constant, and so on. So identifiers are nothing but some special numbers, sorry, you cannot call it as a number, you can say identifier is a name having a few letters, numbers, and special characters, right? So that is okay, we'll definitely see what is identifiers and while we will be dealing with the code. Now let's have a look on the topic called variables. Now a variable is an identifier or a name which is used to refer a value, and that in which we can store the value as well. So basically variables and identifiers will have a look when we will be dealing with the code. Now next thing is nothing but data types. So basically in the JavaScript we don't need to specify types of the variables. So keep in mind, so data types, just like how we have in the Java language, we have to specify the data types before declaring a variables. In JavaScript, now JavaScript we don't need to specify the type of the variable, because it is a dynamically used by JS engine. So who will render our code? The JavaScript engine. Who will identify the data types of our variable? That is nothing but JavaScript engine, right? So we can use var data type. So var is a data type through which we can declare the variables. Initially we will be starting with the var, and then we'll definitely move ahead towards this let and const variables. So it can hold any type of data like string, number, and booleans. So if you're going to define a variable with var and some variable name, suppose if I say var a variable can hold the string, the numbers, the boolean value as well. Now so it can hold a data type, that which type of data you are working right now, or which type of data you will be working with. So basically there are two types of data types. First is a primitive data types, that is nothing but string, numbers, booleans, undefined, and null. I'm very sure you are very new with undefined and null. We'll definitely have a look on it. And the last, symbol is the update of ECMAScript feature. So when ECMAScript has introduced the symbol, new data type has been added to the data types. Now there are other data types as well, non-primitive data types. Non-primitive data types include object, array, and functions, regular expressions as well. So you can categorize data types into two types. First is string, number, boolean, undefined, null, and symbol into the primitive data types. And inside the non-primitive data types, you can see object, arrays, and functions. Now let's start directly with the declarations or initialization of your variables. So we can say variable declaration and initialization. Just now we have seen what a variable, what are identifiers, the data types in the JavaScript. Now we are going to say declaring variables. So you cannot declare reserved variables as your variable name. So there are some reserved keywords in the JavaScript, just like if, while, do, break, continue, return. So these are some defined or predefined variables, reserved keywords that you cannot use for declaring your name or declaring your variables. So what you can declare is very first var name. So this is how we can declare variable inside the JavaScript. So I have defined var name. So next is var age. So this is the way how you are going to define the variable. So initially if you go and check the values of this var name, that is going to be undefined. The value of age variable, that is going to be undefined as well. So let's see how to initialize the variable. So very first we have to write var name is equals to, suppose if I take Anamika, right? Suppose if I want to declare age as well, so I'm going to say var age is equals to 45, and I'm initializing the value as well, that is nothing but 45. So I have declared the variable and the same time I have initialized the variable. So this part is known as your declaration of variable, and this part is called as your declaration as well as initialization of the variable. So other way we can define in the JavaScript variables, that is nothing but name is equals to Anamika. If you are not going to specify var keyword as well, so JavaScript engine itself going to attach that var keyword in front of your variable, right? So simply you have to say name is equals to Anamika, and you have to say age is equals to 45. So that's it. So this is the way how you are going to define these variables and initializing these variables. Let's have a look on this types. So let's go back into the code. I'm going to define these variables, and let's save the file first. I'm going to say with variable.html. So I'm going to say variable.html. Get the boilerplate code first. I'm going to say script tag over here, include the script tag, and inside the script tag I'm going to define this var a is equals to, or instead of that I'll say var name is equals to, if I pass over here, Anamika, right? Just save the file, and if I want to display the same, what I'm going to do is document dot write document dot right, if I say, and I'm going to display the name. So I'm going to say name over here. Just save the file, don't forget to give semicolons at the end, and say open in browser itself. So you can see the Anamika name has been displayed over here. This is what the expected output is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say document dot write, and I'm going to say type of function. So type of function is the function which is going to give you the which type of data holded by this name variable. So I'm going to specify type of name. Let's refresh the page, and you can see string over here. Let me add one line break, and how we can add the line break is simply concatenate with the variable double quotes over here, add this br tag. This is how we can include this HTML inside the JavaScript, and you can see Anamika is the name, and you are specifying this as a string. The type of the data it is holding as string, right? I hope this is clear for you. String is a primitive data type in the JavaScript, and let's move ahead. So I'm going to say let's take var, I'm going to say name over here. Let's reinitialize it, and I'm going to say again document.write, and paste it over here, save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see again we are getting the same output. So I'm going to say document.write again, and I'm going to add this line break. So breaking the line, save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see even if you are reinitializing the variable over here, still your value is constant. So why this is happening, we'll definitely have a look when we will see variable scope. But let's keep in mind, it may be the case some of you are trying by your own and you met up with the same issue. That's why I have explained over here, you can have reinitialization of the variable with not defining the value. So let's take, I'm going to reinitialize the variable. Let's take, I'm going to say Sansa. Let's save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see first we were getting Anamika, the data type is string. Now we are getting Sansa, the data type is string. Now what I'm going to do is I will be copy and pasting the same code again. I'll just paste it over here and I'll replace this Sansa with some number. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Let's save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see we are getting this 1, 2, 3, but it is in the string format. Because we have added this br tag over here, so it considered itself as a string. I'll just remove the same and let's save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. It is still considering itself as a string because we have already assigned some names to that variable, Anamika and Sansa. If you want to have numbers, so what you can do is simply you are going to have var, and if I say number, num is equals to, if I say 1, and let's say document dot write over here, I'm going to say document dot write, and in that I'm going to say some num, and simply I'm going to say copy the line and paste it at the bottom. So I'll say type of num, and simply I'll just paste one more break line over here, so that will get output very correctly. Let's refresh the page and you can see number 1. So 1 is being displayed and the type of 1 is nothing but the number. So I hope you all are okay with the concepts and okay with the code as well. So what I'm going to do is I will be assigning some boolean value over here. Let's have a look over here and I'll just go over here and say true. So I'll pass true and save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page. You can see true and that is nothing but your boolean value. So if you're going to specify your numbers, suppose if I say I want to display 1, 2, 3, save the file, head back to the browser. If you refresh the page and you see 1, 2, 3 which is of type number, so in that case what is happening is it is being considered as a number. So what you have to do is if you want to treat it as a string, so simply include this double quotes over here, single quotes, whatever you want to include, you can say string. So when you are going to include numbers into the string, that case the type of that those numbers will be considered as string. So whenever you want to deal with the numbers, don't put double quotes or single quotes to your numbers, right? Now let's have few more concepts. Suppose is it necessary to write var keyword always? So basically it's not necessary to write var keyword. If you want to define var a is equals to 5, you can define say semicolon, say b is equals to let's take 6 and say c is equals to let's take 7. It's also possible to define in this way. Also suppose if I say document dot write and I'm going to say a, I want to have this concatenation over here, and for this I will be specifying this b, again concatenation, and I'll say c. Let's save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page. Now we are getting 5, 6 and 7, right? So this is the way how you can declare the variable as well as initialize it. So I hope you all guys are clear with this. Let's have a next thing, that is nothing but how to put comments into your JavaScript file. So basically if I want to comment this line, so what I'm going to do is simply add forward slash 2 times. Or if you want to have group comment, in that case what you can do is you can select the code and you can put this control forward slash, that is going to add the comments to your line. So this is the shortcut way you can how you can add this comments to your JavaScript file. Now let's have next thing called as in JavaScript operators. Let's go to the PDF first. So now we are okay with variable declaration and initialization. Let's move ahead. Operators in JavaScript. So very first thing is arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, and bitwise operators. So we will be focusing more on the arithmetic and relational logical operators and assignment operators as well. So if you want to have a look on the bitwise operator, you can definitely have on it. So let's start with the arithmetic operators. So let's have a look of arithmetic operators directly into the code. I'll just get back into the code, just create new file and save the file too. I'll say arithmetic.html. Now I'm going to use this boilerplate code again. I'm including the script tag and have code. So what I'm going to do is simply I'll be having some variable addition over here. So I'm going to say var a is equals to 5 4, give a semicolon over here. Suppose if I say var b is equals to 6 again, and now I'm going to say document doc type, no doc type, I should have document dot right, and please don't put this D capital because JavaScript is a case sensitive language. It won't work if you put such capital letters over here. So document dot write, if I say a plus b, I'm going to save the file and let's head back to the browser. So if I first I have to run the file as well. So I'm going to say, you can see the output is being displayed, that is nothing but 10, right? So 6 plus 4 is 10, right? We are getting right output. 6 plus 4 is 10. So we have got arithmetic operators such as plus, minus, multiplication, modulus, division, increment and decrement. So we'll definitely meet up with this increment, decrement and modulus things when we will be dealing with more examples in the JavaScript. So for now that is okay for writing, how that is just to see the syntax of writing the JavaScript code. So let's have this a into b. Suppose if I write over here a into b, save the file, head back to the browser, and we are getting this 24, right? So we are okay with the syntax. So what I'm going to do is I'll be having control C, control V over here. Now I will be adding this modulus operator. Let's save the file and head back to the browser. And you can see I'm getting some 4 over here. Let me add some break tags. So I'll go over here. I'll say document dot write and I'll add this break tag. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm getting this 4 over here, right? So modulus is nothing but it will return you the remainder that is present over there. So let's have a look on the next thing, that is nothing but increment. So what I'm going to do is I will be having this document dot write and I'm going to say a plus plus. So I'll just save the file, head back to the browser, and now the current value of a is 4, and let's have a look on the this value is 4. So basically what is happening over here is we are printing first. Increment operator works before I have displayed it, right? So I have already displayed a, then we are incrementing the value in the memory. So now if I go over here and if I say document dot write and I'm going to say a, head back to the browser and you can see 5 is being displayed over here. Now let me add this br tag. So I'll say control C, control V over here, and let me paste it over here as well. Save the file, head back to the browser, and now you can see initially the value of a was 4, but now it is being displayed as 5. So basically what is happening with this increment operator is, so it is going to print first. So it will go according left to right side. So basically you can see document dot write, it finds first a has to be printed. So it is printing a to 4, and then inside the memory you have to increment the value. So we are saying a plus plus. So inside the memory the value is 5 now. The moment I'm going to print it, that's why I'm getting 5 on my browser, right? Suppose if I say a plus plus again, so if I add this lines again, control C, and I'll paste it below it, control V. I'm expecting, and I'll just paste this document dot write as well. So very first I am expecting the value to be 5, and after that the value to be 6. Let's go back over here and let's refresh the page. As you can see I'm getting this 5, and after that I'm getting this 6. I hope you all are clear with the syntax, and I hope you all are clear with the increment operator. Same, we have this decrement operator as well. So we can do is, initially a is having some value that is nothing but 6. So I'm going to say document document dot write over here, and I'm going to say a minus minus. Okay, so instead of this, what I am going to do is, instead of printing me every time, I am going to say a minus minus, and now I'm going to print the value of a. Now I'm expecting it to be, let's say, I'm going to add some content after decrement, and I'm going to say this value. Save the file, head back to the browser, and you're getting after decrement value is 5. Let me add this break again. So Control C over here and Control V. Save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page. Initially the value of A is 6 now, but after decrement the value is now 5. Now I hope you all are guys clear with the syntax, and keep practicing on the same. Definitely we'll have some more examples assignment on the same. Now I'll just move ahead and will show you some relational operators, how does they work. So I'm going to create new file. Very first, save the file with relational naming convention .html, and in that let's get first for boilerplate code. Add the script tag first, and in that let's have a look on this relational. So relational operators are nothing but less than, greater than, less than equals to, greater than equals to, and you can have double equals, you can have not equals, and you can say triple equals, and you can say not double equals. So basically, you are very familiar with greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to, double equals to as well. But what about this triple equals, right? So we'll start with directly double equals and the triple equals. I'll make the comment of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable. So where a is equals to, if I say 12, I'm going to define the variable where b is equals to, let's take 11. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print document dot write, and I'm going to say a triple equals, or let's start with a double equal, a triple double equals b. Now save the file and head back to the browser. I'll just say open in browser, and now we are able to get our boolean value. So it will return you, so double equal and triple equal operators, these relational operators return you the boolean values. So basically if I'm going to say a equals b, it is returning somewhat false. So what is this a double equals b? That is nothing but it is checking 12 equals, right? So if I have written something like this, suppose if I say a equals b, suppose if I have something like this, so in that case it is nothing but assignment operators. What will happen in this case is the value of b will be assigned to variable a. So we are not concerning of this situation or this condition, we are not considering as well. So what we are expecting is we want to check whether a's contents are equals with b's content. So we just save the file and we have just checked. So we have got the answer false because 12 is not equals to 11. Yes, it is right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it 12. Just save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see the value is true. So basically the contents are same, 12 equals 12, right? Now the thing is we will be dealing with this document dot write, and if I'm going to say a triple equals b, now save the file, and what will we, now let's check what we get. So let's refresh the page. You can see we are getting now true because contents are same definitely. But if I'm going to change the content to, let's take, I'm going to say 12, you know the contents are same, right? So let me have a look on this very first statement. I'll just comment the second one, save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page. Still we are getting value true, right? 12 equals to true. Basically what we did is in variable a we have kept numbers 12, and variable b we have added double quotes. That means we have added the string. So what we are checking with double equal is a double equal b. That is nothing but it is checking only for contains, and contains in the both case a and b is having same. Now let's see same scenario with a triple equals b and head back to the browser, refresh the page, and we are getting false. So basically triple equals, what is the purpose of triple equal is whenever you want to check the data and with the data types, in that case you can go with your triple equals, right? So what is happening in this case is it is checking the contents and contents are same. A equals to 12 and B equals to 12. So A double equals B is true because contents are same. But in the background what is happening is if you go and check, if I say console dot log and if I say type of A and I'll just copy the line again, I'll paste it over here and I'll say type of B, save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page, and if I say Control Shift I is the shortcut to open your developer tool. Other way you can say right click and inspect as well. So you can see number over here and I'll just edit it somewhat. I'll say A plus and I'm going to add over here B. So I'll say B plus. Now just save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see A is number and B is holding some string value, and that's why I'm getting this A triple equals B as false. So basically when you want to check only content, you can go with A double equals B, and when you want to check content as well as their data types, then you have to go with A triple equals B. I hope you all guys are clear with this double equal and triple equal, and we will be having these relational operators examples when we will be dealing with the course. Now let's have a look into this logical operators directly. So logical operators, I will be creating a new file again, control and save the file, and I'm going to save it with logical.html. So what are these logical operators? What are the logical operators? I'm going to include the script tag and right. So let's have a look on this logical operators. Basically we have got and we have got or we have got this not. So let's have a look on the code. So let's start coding for the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the statement, like suppose if I'm going to say if, and don't go with the syntax. If is okay, we haven't looked at this if statement. So let's have a look on the concept itself. So if, or else instead I'll say document dot write, document dot write over here, and I'm going to say 5 is greater than 3. Yes, the condition is true, and 5 is greater than, let's take 2. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two conditions over here. That is nothing but 5 greater than 3 and 5 greater than 3. So 5 greater than 3 and 5 greater than 2. Basically AND operator is going to return you some boolean value. So let's save the file and say open in browser, and you're getting this true because 5 is greater than 2 and 5 is greater than 3 as well. So you can see we are getting some true output, right? This is what the expected thing is. So what I'm going to do is, second thing we have got is your or operator, right? So what I'm going to do is replacing this and with or. So I'll just add this or over here and save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Still we are getting this true output. So where it makes a difference is when any one condition of your statement is going to say false. So if I make it 5 greater than, let's take 10. Save the file, head back to the browser, and you can see still we are getting true output because any one condition is true, the or operator is going to return you true. But same if I replace this or operator with and save the file, and operator, both conditions should be true, then and then only it will return you true. Just save the file and head back to the browser. You can see we are getting false in this case, right? Now I hope you all are clear with the syntax and you all are clear with the concept, right? So I'll say control C, control V over here, and I'll keep it or, right? And next is but your not operators. So what I'm going to do is I'll be writing document dot write, and I'm going to say not, and I'm going to say 5 greater than 2. So what is happening in this scenario is, so very first it will execute 5 is greater than true. So definitely 5 is greater than true, so it will return you true, and not operator will revert your output. So true will be returned in the form of false. So save the file and head back to the browser, and you can see we are getting this false for the first statement, true for the second statement, and third false we are getting for this not operator, right? So let's change the situation. So if I say over here 10, 5 is greater than 10, definitely the answer is false, and the invert of false is nothing but true. The third output should be true. Let's save the file, head back to the browser. You can see the third output as true. I hope you all are clear with the syntaxes, and let's have a look on this assignment operators. So basically I'm going to create new file over here, save the file. I'm going to say assignment.html. Save the file and get the boilerplate code. Now I'm going to include this script tag. As of now, I want to write this script in my document. So what I'm going to do is I will be writing some assignment operators. So very first is your equal to operator. You can have next is your plus and equals to. So I'm going to add plus equals to. You can have this minus equals to, and many more operators are there. Let's have a look on this plus equals to. So whenever I'm going to say over here plus equals to, so let me show you an example. What is this plus equals to is, suppose I want to add some numbers and I want to initialize that into some variables. So I'm going to say a plus equals to, I'm going to say 10. So basically I want to add some value into the a. So let's take a is initialized with some variable. Let's take 5, and I'm adding this 5 plus 10. So that is nothing but your 15. So I'm initializing the variable as well. I'm adding the value into that variable as well. So let's have a look on this. So I'm going to say var a is equal to 5, and I'm going to say document dot right over here, and in that I'm going to say a plus is equals to, I'm going to say plus is equals to, let's take 5. So output expected is 10. Let's save the file, open in browser, and you can see we are getting output as 10. So this statement whatever we have written over here is same as that of a is equals to a plus 10, right? So what is happening in the background, you can see a is equals to a plus 10. Same we can use the shorthand syntax, that is nothing but a plus is equals to 10. Same you can do for the modulus, same you can do for the minus as well. So I'm going to use control c control v over here, and I'll just add break tag again. So I'll just go over here and I'll add br and semicolon adding over here, and let's add minus symbol as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'll be replacing this 5 with 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. Just save the file and head back to the browser. I'm refreshing the page. As you can see, output as 10 or output as 8. Yeah, so what is happening over here is we are reinitializing the variable as well. So what is happening over here is 5 plus 5 is initialized to a. That's why a is having 10 value now, and 10 minus 2 is nothing but 8. That's why we are getting this 8 output, right? So if you want to have this 3 value output, then what you can do is you can comment out this line, save the file, head back to the browser, and refresh the page. You can see we are getting this 3 output, right? So we can reinitialize a variable as well, and we can have this assignment operator as well. I hope you all are clear with these things. Let's have some practical knowledge on the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept the variable, or I'm going to show you the way how you can take input from the user, right? So that is nothing but your prompt box. The browser provides a built-in function which can be used to get the input from the users named as prompt. It displays a dialog box that prompts the visitor for input. This method returns the input value. So what you have to do is simply you have to use this prompt method. I'm going to add the prompt method just below this. So I'm going to say, sorry, I made a mistake. It's not a tag, it's a method. So I'm going to say prompt, and I'm going to say enter your name. So I'm going to say enter your name. So basically I'm going to ask a question to user, and user will definitely return me some value, so I have to hold that value. So what I'm going to do is I will be assigning the return value to some variable where a is equals to prompt enter your value, and simply I'm going to say document dot right over here, and I will be having this enter your name. I will be saying welcome and this name. So I'll just pass this a, right? I'll just comment out all these things, save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page. You can see I'm getting some dialog box over here, right? Some prompt box over here. So basically what is happening in this case, we are getting some text box, and initially we can see the autofocus is being applied to this text box. So even me, instead me clicking on this in this text box, I'm initially I'm getting this cursor into the text box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit my name. So I'm going to say Sonal over here, say okay, and you can see welcome Sonal is being displayed. So this is the one way of accepting data from the user. So definitely there are multiple ways to accept the data from the user. This is the basic example to show the example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept age as well. So I'm going to say control C, control V over here, and let's accept the age. So I'm going to say enter your age, and let's have this as age, and let's display the content for the same. Your age is, and I'm going to say this age variable. Save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see enter your name. I'm going to add this Sonal over here and say okay, and now I'm going to add over here 30. Let's say age as 30, say okay, and you can see welcome Sonal, your age is 30 being displayed, right? I hope you all are clear with the syntax, how to get input from the user and how to have document.write syntax as well.